A sourdough starter is just a mixture of naturally fermented flour and water that can be used to make healthy and flavorful bread. If we keep a thick mix of flour and water on the counter for a few days, you will see a few changes happening to it. Nature will introduce a few microorganisms into it, and it will slowly start to change its physical, chemical, and biological composition. While making sourdough starter, we are going to make use of this magic work of nature in such a way that we will work on it and wait for until that mixture is full of active yeast and good bacteria in a balanced and stabilized stage that can be used to make wonderful bread at home. Or we can say that a sourdough starter is that which is used instead of commercial yeast while making a sourdough bread. Unlike commercial yeast where we use only 1 or 2 teaspoons of yeast for making a bread, we use around 20 grams of sourdough starter for every 100 grams of flour while making a sourdough bread. It's because unlike commercial yeast which contain only one strain of yeast, this sourdough starter is a symbiotic environment that contains a variety of yeast and some good bacteria in it. And that is why its characteristics and behavior are different from commercial yeast. It's very slow in action, it's very sensitive to temperature, and the bread made with sourdough starter is more flavorful, more nutritious, and easily digestible in our body than a bread made with commercial yeast. So in this video, let's see how to make your own starter at home. There are many different ways we can make our starter, and in this method we are going to mix the flour and water on day 1, and then we will stir it on day 2, and from day 3 to day 7 we will feed it every 24 hours in the ratio 1:1:1. That is, we will mix equal parts of starter, flour and water, and at the end of first week we'll get a weak starter, and to make it strong from day 8 onwards we will feed it every time when it reach its maximum fermentation or when it reach its peak, and by the end of day 10 we will get a very young and active starter. To make sourdough starter, we can use any types of flour, but for getting best results, I like to use a mix of bread flour and some whole grain flour, like whole wheat flour, rye flour, spelt flour, etc. Here I've taken 1/5 part of bread flour as whole wheat flour for the process of making sourdough starter. So on day 1, we will mix equal parts of flour and water, 30 grams of flour and 30 ml water. The next day you will see some bubbles here and there. Just stir it and transfer it to a clean jar and leave it for another 24 hours. And on day 3, we'll see some bubbles here and there, which indicates some good active fermentation happening behind. And from day 3 to day 7, we will feed it every 24 hours in the ratio 1:1:1. And on day 4, you may not see much activity, which is normal. So please don't discard it and keep on feeding. And from next day onwards, on 5th day onwards, you will see some bubbles, and also you will notice that the starter will rise and fall during this 24-hour duration, and this line shows the level of maximum rise, or it is the time when it reach its peak. And thus by the end of first week we will get a weak starter, and on 8th day onwards we will start to feed it every time when it reach its peak. And thus on 10th day we will get a young starter which will reach its peak in 6 to 8 hours, and that will have a nice pleasant yeasty smell to it. And when you taste it, it should not be acidic, but it should have a mild sour taste to it, and has lots of air bubbles in it. And as it is full of air bubbles, when you drop a spoonful into a bowl of water, it will float in water. So now your starter is ready, and you can use it for making endless number of healthy, delicious sourdough bread at home. And in case if you feel like your starter is not yet ready, just keep on feeding it for a few more days, and your starter will be ready to use in another few days. I've prepared a sourdough starter feeding checklist that you can use while you make your own sourdough starter. You can download it for free. The link is given in the description box below. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope the checklist would also be helpful. And thank you so much for your love and support, and thanks for watching this video. See you next time.